Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played between 4 players with very long names. Today we're on Valley, not seen this one in a while, and we'll go through the deck reviews and then we'll get back to it. Right, so this is the deck review for MoosMan. He's playing 94Y. There is a guide for 94Y, it's almost 3 hours long, tells you how to play 94Y. Team games, a little bit different, right? You can bring more arty and stuff, but generally, yeah, you got to synergize with your team in a team game. I'm not going to go through every single unit in 4 decks because we'll be here all day, but basically 25th Soviet gets way better arty than 94Y, and it gets way better AA than 94Y, so sounds like the bikers are back. You should probably be bringing like 8 Cubs and on the 25 player, right? You probably want to bring the Misters and the Giatsins and the Cubs, right? And then this thing with like 2 vet in the tanks when they've got auto loaders, there's really no point because it doesn't make the rate of fire go up when it's auto loaded. So that's a waste of time. And then you can, you can take back control or whatever and get the Misters, delegation, right? One guy's got good RT and AA, the other guy's got good coffin launchers, I guess. Probably go for the KPVT personally. Not sure about that boat thing. So, yeah, you could even get rid of like a card of infantry. Like, yeah, you could get rid of this, for example, because you should be bringing. You can bring 8 Cubs if you want. I mean, 4 can be enough. And then that allows the 94 player to just quit bringing the arty that doesn't do anything, right? I mean, the Grad, okay, the Akatsia, probably not. Well, you don't need all these. You probably want a second coffin launcher cards. They're useful for the team games, right? Yeah. So that's my feedback for those two. I mean, like I said, there's no point going through every single unit. On this one, the Lars 2 sucks. You want the Mars. So that's like the whole point of 5th Panzer in 2v2s. And this is just trash. It's got a 6-minute reload. You want the Tornado IDSHE. And then, yeah, you can bring the rocket plane if you want. It's more of a 1v1 thing. Oh, he's coming back around again. I don't know if the microphone picks that up, but it's very loud. I can hear it very loudly. Apart from that, I think it's okay. But yeah, you want the Mars, and you put a CV next to it, and then it counter batteries everything. And then, yeah, you got the Blackhawks and stuff. These guys pick 101st a lot, so we've been through these decks before. But you get the idea, right? So, like, this guy doesn't have long-range AA, ASFs even, so this guy brings 6 ASFs, and so on, and so on. So, I hope that's insightful. Let's get to the game. Right, so with that out of the way, yeah, so it's, can't remember that, so this is Peanut, MoosMan, Frisbee, can't remember what the other one's called. But yeah, they've all changed their name to be Long, I guess. 101st and 5th Panzer, decent picks together, but there's no long range AA. So they're going to struggle a bit against, like, 94 by gets a lot of bombers, so that's going to be a bit rough, especially big open field. So you'd be better off picking, I don't know, 8th US instead of 5th Panzer, so you get the Ihawks, or CLK, or 4th Dutch, or 11th ACAV, just something to get those Ihawks out. And then 101st Airborne, it can be useful on this map because of all the ATGMs, you get the tanks, so it's just a really good div in general. It's crazy that you get, like, 8 Meep Abrams. I don't know about that Meep buff, man. The M1 IP availability buff didn't really make much sense to me, but because like all the divs it was for, they're all good now, irrespective of that buff. So 101st, 24th, Berlin Command, those were the 3, right? I think they're the only 3 that have them. There's probably another one that I'm forgetting. So they're all good now anyway. 24th probably being the worst of those 3. Anyway, you know, there are things you can do, right? You get the forward deployment. Oh. Oh, I didn't realise that in the deck review. He's put this one in the grenade launcher Humvee. No, you still want that in the Humvee Delta, even though... Because this will go to 100 now, not 120. And the Special Forces 50 cal, I think, is actually not that much worse than the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is probably better against units in buildings because it ignores the cover. Anyway, so the deployment, some Delta Force for each zone, and then Aero Scouts backing that up. You'd hope there'd be 3 AA helos behind that. There are. So that's good. And then the 5th Panzer on the left with the Heimat guys, Aero Engineers, some Leopard 1s, Leopard 1s. You don't open Leopard 2 because somebody will just buy a bomber and blow it up, so that's smart. Really don't want to open Heavy Tank, basically ever, because it just... Your AA net's not going to be set up unless, oh, I opened 2 Cubs, you know, in a 1v1. In team games you can open a Heavy Tank if you want, but generally in 1v1, if you spend so much... Because you got to spend loads on the tank, and then you got to spend loads to protect the tank, and then you don't have a deployment, because like most of your deployment is based around this one heavy tank. But yeah, they got the fighter as well. 40-point CVs, so that's looking pretty good. Switch into their opponents. They don't have any airborne forward deployment between them, so that is a weakness of the draft, but they do get long-range AA. I think basically like 25th can work, and 94th can work, but generally you'd want... I don't know, 25th and something with forward deployment. So maybe like 9th East German would be really good on this map because the T-72Ss can shoot very far. 2,800 meters, and it's a big open field map. But yeah, looking at the deployment, we got some Razvedka and so on. Don't want to go through every single unit because it's a 2v2, so we'll be here all day. Recon deployed tanks, right? The main fighting's going to be around these zones because there's no zone here. Which is, it's interesting. I mean, it's, I just wish they'd do more cuts of the maps. Like, so, you know, because like, oh, new season, what should we do for the new season? We'll just put a new cut of the map in, because you don't have to change any of the geometry, you just move the zones around, move the spawns around. Oh, this season they spawn here, and you attack this way, and, you know, it would take them, like, maybe an hour to do that. Because I've done it myself, if you recall the infamous Peace Windmill map that got me banned off Twitch. Anyway, Recon Picket, backed up by a couple Cubs and stuff. We spoke in the deck review how the 25Y player should have brought more arty and maybe even more Cubs, and then leave his opponent to bring the more coffin launchers and so on. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joining the channel, they get their names on the screen, they get the videos early,
like money.
They get members exclusive videos.
Subscribe to the channel.
It's very kind of you, thank you. I didn't plan that, so that'll just happen occasionally. Yeah, one join at the lowest levels with 2,000 views, so yeah, thank you for joining the channel. At tier 4 you can get your games cast, or you can get like you can request me to play a div or even play a deck. If it's too stupid, I'll say no. Like some guy sent me, it was like just him playing single player. I'm not gonna cast that, okay? So maybe ask if you have an outlandish request. Maybe ask before doing the tier 4 channel joinership, so we don't have to I don't have to pay through PayPal and all this. So we did land that in time, which is smart. And then he hits him with the Cub, and the Cub has more accuracy the closer you are, because it's radar. So, Blue gets there first, which is not surprising, given the Delta, and the Max Vet Delta especially gets there super fast. And they open lots of AA because they were expecting helos, and they were right to do so. Will he unload this in time? He did not. That Kiowa is, it's hard to use because it's 120 points to availability, it dies quickly. Oh man, please unload your units, they're all just dying. This is so depressing. Oh, that could have smoked. Most of the value in the heli rush is your opponent mismicroing. Like, if you're the guy heli rushing, most of the value is he won't unload his stuff in time and stuff, so against a really good player, the heli rush kind of sucks. Unless, you know, you can get a bit lucky and maybe they're not expecting it. Like, I've lost to heli rushes recently, so... What are you doing? You just watched everybody else die there! Oh my god. he gets behind the building, so he's safe, but actually he wants to come out from behind the building. He's just had enough of life, apparently. I feel the same way after watching that micro. So, yeah, Red doing a lot of dying, just kind of walking into the helicopters and dying. Back to the point about the Kiowa. So it dies easy because it's 4 HP. But the missiles go super fast, the Hellfire missiles, so you can... Kind of like a high-risk, high-reward item. I don't bring it for that reason. I prefer the security of the 4 per card recon helo. But it can be useful in that, so you can do the same strategy. It's like if you open recon helo and A10, that's going to cost you like 300 points. Whereas this is sort of doing the same thing for 120. But yeah, they're just losing way too much in the open. On 1v1, Red's on the good side because of the way the zone is structured. But here, I don't know. I mean, Blue got there first, and it's a big open field, so Red having some problems. Yeah, the thing with the AA helos, first of all, you got to check the ranges. Who's got the most range? So they've got the same range, right? The other thing is whoever's stationary has the advantage because the helicopter, when it comes in, it'll do this whole tilt thing where it goes, whoa, I gotta slow down, and it'll tilt up and it won't shoot while it's tilting up. So there are ways around that, because it'll fire, if it's got its nose down, it can fire. And so if you just running towards them, you would actually use a move order, not an attack move order. Anyway, in that case, one OH-58C should lose anyway, because the Mi-24V can survive 2 hits, whereas the OH can only survive 1 hit. And they've got basically the same kind of missile. I mean, this one does more damage, but, you know, with the HP difference, it doesn't matter so much. So, something to keep in mind. So, looking pretty good for Blue. Red's deployment mainly died in the open field. But this SU-25's taking names. It almost got that. I suppose now it's showing side armor. So there is a chance for them. They are on a -2, but you know, you get the Cubs up, right? I think late game you got a pretty good advantage given that you've got 2 tank divs against 1.5 tank divs. Of course, 101st Airborne gets 8 heavy tanks at 1 bet. That was interesting. But yeah, 1v1, there's like 1 zone here, 1 here, and 1 here. And so... Oh no! More miss micro. It's amazing how much of the game... Like, it's good in a way, because it means that you can improve, and you know what to improve. But it's amazing how much of a difference it makes, just like, not losing your units to dumb stuff. And the less dumb stuff you lose your units to, like, you could just win games just by having more stuff. But yeah, it's hard to pay attention to so many units, right? It's not Broken Arrow. There's no cap on the income. You can get loads and loads and loads of units. But unlike a game like Sanctuary Shattered Sun, which we cover on the channel, I've been enjoying that a lot. That game has no directional armor, right? So you don't have to worry about, oh, I gotta smoke my unit. And at that point, you get so many units that losing 1 to something silly it generally doesn't matter. No, he's not smoking. He's good. Just smoke. I guess he doesn't have smoke because he didn't smoke. He reversed. Also, I guess he's saying, "Hey, man." Oh no, I see. That's his opponent saying, "Hey, man, there's an Igla there." So also, this can move up, right? So if you're red in this case, because you've got Saperi RPO, although Blue has Pioneer Flam, that probably isn't going to work out. It's like diving a bunch of Cubs with a rocket plane. Well, he could have chased there, but I guess he was worried about this. These carry a lot of missiles, that's its main advantage. It's got 10 missiles, so it can actually... So like an F-16 AA, the 1/8 gets, wouldn't be able to engage here, because it would have used all 4 of its missiles already. But this one, you know, it's got that going for it, so... Having lots of missiles does tend to matter. But not all the time. It's a beautiful game if you think about it. But yeah, so what I was going to say is red could move up through here, because like the way you own this zone is that you take this forest, because both sides can reinforce this forest fairly easily, right? And if you're up to here as red, well, you know, you can see everything, and you can come over here and shoot. Sorry, I got the hiccups. You can shoot all this, so... So yeah, what I'd like to see from red is get the coffin launcher in here from 94Y, right? And then just move up with Saperi, and you need an anti-tank in here, it can't just be Saperi, because what if he just runs the Luxon and you won't be able to do anything. And then if you encounter Pioneer Flam, boom, dead, and then you just slowly work your way through here. Because right now blue has just hosed them on the opener, so red drove into it. These are very useful. Right. Big part of 94Y, actually. I do have a pro guide out to 94Y. It's like public access, anybody can view it. Looks like he fell for the... Oh, there's cover here. There is... No, this is the cover. This is all open ground that you can see through. So for whatever reason, this shed is... Yeah, because it's open on one side, I guess. You know, it's not a proper building and so on. Yeah, you really got to watch yourself on the road networks on this map, because they will take you through the big open field and you'll die, so you got to pay a lot of attention. Yeah, he didn't sell these. He's got to buy the Grad and put it on counter battery with a Potok next to it. Here's one I bought earlier, you know. But yeah, blue's getting cyberbullied in the air, because they literally, I suppose they've got chaparrals, but... So many guys dying that could be living. So it's an absolute bloodbath. It's good that they're being aggressive with their units. Well, it's good that, you know, they're not just sitting there, right? Because it's more entertaining for us, the viewers. So it's a blessing. But yeah, this has ground surveillance radar. You know, get it in there, and then you can see further. And you know, get the coffin launcher up. Coffin launcher can sit behind here. Dead. Right. Somebody called Schadenfreude just tried to add me on Steam. There it is in the... Oh, you missed it. Because it's like game capture and desktop capture. And I have it set to game capture, not desktop capture. But I can change between the two, I just didn't change fast enough, so... Earth Heroes out on Steam, by the way, if you're wondering. Just press release on that. Don't know when you're seeing this, but... So, red, they've got a decent chance here. They just have to, you know, quit feeding, right? And, you know, like that. No AT in here, so one Fox just kills all the Saperi. You really got to watch out for things like that, man. You could even send a T-64A in here, but... You know, just to assist, because it's got a lot of front armor, and neither of these guys have good infantry AT. The best infantry AT is the AT4, which 101st gets. 5th Panzer gets the Carl Gustav, which is not great, frankly. It's only got 16 pen. So, yeah, I mean, blue needs to just quit buying the planes and running them in. Make sure you evac this way. I did it automatically and chose the right way, so that's good. But yeah, you can just right click over here and then press evac and it should be sorted, so... Where was that? It was a missile from the Phantom. Flew in front of me. He's got the coffin launcher out now, finally, but... Yeah, clock's ticking for red, and the attrition rate's crazy. I mean, attacking's hard, but just get out the building, you know? Turn off the auto cover so he doesn't go back in. But... Yeah, I mean, I have to remind myself, you know, I think I have more hours in this game than all of these guys put together, so for me, that is something that, you know, I would usually notice, but it's literally just because I've played it more, it's not a you're dumb kind of thing. So the Jaguar 2 is a really useful unit. It fires a TOW 2 and it's got 6 armor, so it can, usually if there's an enemy tank, it can hit them with the TOW 2 and, you know, survive and get away, smoke and get away. Both the enemy tank and the Jaguar have to retreat, and the Jaguar costs way less. It's like a third the price, so big win for the Jaguar. Issue with the Jaguar 2 is that it gets one shot by Conkers. And so in a fight with a BMP-2, the BMP-2s trade favourably with it, because they both one-shot each other, and the Jaguar costs more. So yeah, Conkers are the nemesis of the Jaguar 1 and 2 just because it's just the perfect thing to one-shot it, and it's quite an abundant unit, the Conker. It's probably the most common ATGM in the game. Because the Malyuka doesn't have an infantry variant. The Unspeakable one, I suppose, is more common in that it probably comes on more decks, right? Ah, it's a side shot. Smoke, press the smoke button. No. Smoking's expensive these days, so maybe it's more of like a vape guy. That's how it works in the UK, everybody just vapes. I mean, obviously I don't, but instead of smoking, they vape, because the vapes are cheaper, and the government was like, okay, we'll just make those more expensive as well. I don't know, how do we break the cycle of addiction? They should get addicted to Warno instead, it's way better. So here you go, right? So, oh, it's gonna miss because it got routed. He saw it getting routed, so hopefully he, I mean, that might hit. Oh, he might get both of them. He's walking into it. Oh, he got 1.5. But yeah, this forest is very important, and it seems blue understands that. It seems red doesn't understand much of anything, so I reckon, I guess it's just going to be blue got there first, blue wins. I mean, I don't really see how red comes back into this. This is interesting. They are amphibious. The main issue you have doing things like this is that they run out of fuel. so sometimes you have to bring an amphibious fuel with them. Like the MTLB supply is a good example, but because the fuel is done off how long it spends moving, not how far it goes. So if you're going through rough terrain, you'll run out of fuel in the same amount of time, but you'll have covered less distance. So it feels like you're running out of fuel faster, because it's just done off at how long are you moving for, which I think makes sense, right? I think that's probably the best way of doing it. I don't really care for the fuel, you know. Yeah, but you're more efficient if you go at this speed. It's like, so there you go. He decides to just feed in another fighter. Yeah, it makes you think. So, you know, if you're sort of newer at the game, you know, maybe you're playing with players who are also newer at the game, forward deployment is very, very important, because attacking's hard, and yeah, as you can see, it's very difficult to, you know, resist the urge to just walk forwards and die over and over and over again. Apparently that's a very strong urge in certain places. So you should draft with forward deployment. If that's... you just gotta be realistic, man, right? Attacking's hard. Okay, I'm picking an FD division and another division instead of 2 medium divisions with no FD between them, because, as you can see, Red's getting rinsed, and it just comes down to they don't play the game that much, and they have to attack, and attack is the hardest thing to do. And so, you know, just draft an FD div in. Feel like these guys kind of understood the assignment better. Would have been, I think, you know, something like 100. Yeah, something with High Hawks would have been better than 5th Panzer, as we spoke about previously. He also didn't bring the Mars, which would be like the reason to bring 5th Panzer in a 2v2 is the Mars. You just get the cluster RT out with a CV next to it, put it on counter battery, you just kill all the enemy RT. Make sure you fire 6, then move. If you're very worried about enemy counter battery from something like another cluster, you fire 4, then move. If you fire 6, you'll die. So you stay at the back, you fire 4, then move. That way you get 3 volleys out, that's why it's not 5, right? It's hard to pay attention though. That if you fire 4, there's no guarantee you'll kill what you're counter batterying, because you might just get unlucky with the RNG. But being alive's better than being dead. You'll get them eventually, that sort of thing. So when this game was sent to me, I believe it was called something like Epic on the replay. I mean, epic fail maybe, right? These guys These guys lost right at the start, and they've just been losing ever since. Maybe they can pull it back. I just keep assuming something cool's going to happen, but to me it just kind of seems like they're just walking forwards and dying over and over. And they're just really bad at putting anti-tank in this forest. And Metis, it's not really the play, you just need a motor Strelky in there, mate. This shoots a Saperi. Saperi should be with a motor Strelky. The other guys have the same problem. It's like lack of fear. Well, what happens if somebody sends a tank in like this? Like they're doing right now? What happens then? Seed? Gotta send the seed plane out to fly over all the chaparrals and die. Just like the last two things they sent over there to just die. Against the landed helicopter, it wouldn't kill anyway. Interesting point about the seed. If you right-click an enemy helicopter, it won't actually fire the seed missile. So you gotta... Obviously, that was just a really bad idea anyway, especially what happened to the last two SUs that went this way. Just died to the same things, from the same places. But if you were to dive a helo and you know there's radar AA near it or whatever, you would right-click near the helo, and then at kind of like last few seconds, you would right-click on the helo. Right, once you fired the seed missile, you would right-click on the helo, because otherwise you just don't fire the seed missile. It's the same with like those seed planes that have bombs on them and stuff. If you're right-clicked on the ground, if your attack ordered on anything other than an AA with radar, it just won't fire the seed missile, right? So you got to use a move order and then the attack order. Like, you just got to be aware of that and try and micro around it. You know, so give it the bombing order at the last second, but make sure it's the bombing order's right on the nose. Otherwise, you'll give it the bombing order and it won't drop the bombs. So you can't do it too late. It is really dumb. It is like the way air works in Broken Arrow. I mean, the balance is like completely whack. They keep ruining that. But the way air works with like afterburners and flares and you know, the planes will just hit things. Like, you'll just right click near it and it'll hit everything around it. Right, it'll do its best. It's not like in Warno where it's like, I'm turning around and yeah, just more feeding, more feeding, more feeding. I sent a plane forwards and it died. Let's do the same thing 5 more times and see what happens. Oh, they all died. Yeah, well. No attempt to try and kill the AA. That's like, usually, you know, these would shoot. You're like, okay, I lost my plane. Now I need to kill that AA. You'd get all the arty that you've got, and you would shoot the AA positions, and then you'd go again. You know, the seed plane. You don't just. So just with the planes, right? This is like the worst place in the game to attack. Same with here. And that's where both players have been sending their planes. Almost, all 4 players have been sending their planes almost exclusively. Like, we saw a rocket thing over here. But, like, here is the worst place, and here is the worst place. Because if you fly into the middle, you're exposing yourself to all the AA. Because of, you know, just the way it's placed. The stuff on the left will shoot you, and the stuff on the right will shoot you, and the stuff in the middle will shoot you. So the way you use the air is that you come in on the sides, and you hit like an exposed target on the side. So like, bombing around here would make a lot of sense, right? Because you can assume there's not going to be too much AA there. But just flying over the middle of the map over and over again with the planes, and then calling your replay epic. What was epic about this? You lost that minute. Oh no, hang on, it was called banger. My bad. It was called banger, not epic. I'm certainly bangering my head against the table watching this. Very depressing showcase. So yeah, if you struggle with attacking, man, just pick a forward deployment, dude. You gotta be honest with yourself. He's done it again! Well, that time it made it out. That means it's fine, and we should keep doing it. Because, yeah, I mean, they literally just got their second and then lost. I mean, that was this game, right? So, I don't know what to say, really. But, yeah, Red could have pushed up through here. With the coffins, you know, they'd basically be undefeatable here because, yes, the Pioneer Flam is way too strong. But it would start shooting and the coffin launcher would whack it, and then you just come forwards a bit more, and then you just come forwards a bit more. You'd have the cubs, you know, slowly moving up behind as well, and then you could clear out the forest, and then you'd be able to see most of that zone. But yeah, that was very sad. So, you know, draft a forward deployment div in your thing, right? You got to be honest with yourself. So when you're doing a team draft, think a little bit of forward deployment, right? And think like it doesn't have to be a whole airborne div. It can even be something like second UK, right? Because or like you know, one of the Polish divs with the honkers, right? Because you got to think forward deployment, long range AA. Those are the main and good tanks. Those are the main three things you need in a team draft. If you don't have all three, you're probably going to lose. You can get away with some like mega cheese strats, like double airborne, whatever. Like we've seen it happen in the tournaments. But generally, the cornerstones are long range AA, forward deployment, and good tanks. They definitely had the tank one covered. They didn't have the forward deployment, and they didn't. They had the long range AA, but it was the forward deployment, right? These guys, they had the forward deployment. They had the good tanks. They didn't have the long range AA. Thankfully, their opponents, you know, just kept flying the planes over them and dying, so they didn't need Eyehawks. And you can substitute with like long range fighters, but generally you want an Eyehawk div if you're on NATO, and you want a Cub div if you're on PACT. And you know there are some divs that do multiple things. Generally, it tends to be one div tends to be long range AA good tanks, and the other div tends to be the forward deployment. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. That's just what it came down to, right? And it sucks that you sort of lose at the start, but there were ways back into that game. But they just kept running over the open field and dying to the Apaches. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. GG.